If you started reading the Bible at the beginning, you would be reading about creation, Adam and Eve, and the names of those who came after Adam. Eventually, you would run into a man named Enoch. Only Enoch and one other man was described in this certain way. That was, Enoch walked with God. Do you know the other man described this way? If you guessed Noah, you would be correct. There are only a few verses in Genesis that describe Enoch, and here are two of them. From Genesis 5, verses 23 to 24. Altogether, Enoch lived 365 years. Enoch walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. If you read the other names listed here, there's a statement about how many years they lived, and then they died. Here, Enoch was said that God took him away. It does not say he died. Only one other man in Scripture was taken away by God without dying. Do you know who that was? If you said Elijah, again, you would be correct. Now, what does it mean that Enoch walked with God? What does it mean to walk with someone? Years ago, when I was a teacher, when I came home, my wife and I would take a walk together. If you walk with someone, you are both walking in the same direction. It would not be considered walking together if you were walking in opposite directions. Walking with God must mean that you are both walking in the same direction. In other words, you are both on the same page. Picture my wife and I walking together. Would it look a little odd if I was walking ahead of her? If you're walking with God, are you walking ahead of Him? If He has a plan for you, you should be patient for it to work according to His timing. Also, if when my wife and I were walking together, I would be a few feet behind her, how would that look? If you're walking with God, are you behind Him? I see this as instead of being in step with God, you are dragging your feet. So what do you do when you're walking with someone? What did my wife and I do during the walk? Maybe there would be a time of silence. Just enjoying the presence of each other would be all that is needed at the time. But usually, we might talk about our day, our sons, and just anything that might come to mind. Is that a difficult thing to do when you're walking with an invisible God? Sometimes just experiencing the presence of God and feeling His grace is enough. Thanking God for His hand in your life helps you take your mind off more difficult things. But sharing your day, your dreams, your concerns, your needs, and even your concerns for other people is another way of walking with God. This is called intercessory prayer, when you bring your concerns and those of others to God. And one other way my wife and I walk together. We listen to each other. Just try listening to God. You might be surprised what He might say to you in the silence. So, if you're walking with God in your journey, how are you doing? Maybe it might be helpful if you tried some of the things I shared in the video.